Hello. The place that I chose for my assessment of public space with regard to people with disabilities was a retail store called the Midtown Scholar Bookstore, located on 1302 North 3rd Street, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 17102. The assessment methodology that I used is that I went to the store, I took measurements of the designated places as listed in the checklist. I didn't do all of them, um, but I did what I thought was appropriate. I discreetly documented my findings by taking pictures, and then I assessed my findings. I'll go over priority one first, which was accessible approach and entrance, for example, parking, ramps, doorways, and surface conditions. There is just one curb cut that does not require stairs that's located outside the entrance. It is unstable, it's firm and treaded, but it is not slip resistant. So, for example, if it snows or if it's icy, it is still very slippery. The curb cut is 36 inches wide exactly. The circulation path outside the entrance is relatively accessible to wheelchairs, but when it's populated, it is not. The outdoor book carts and the people browsing then create a lot of crowding and clutter, um, which limits space. There is only street parking, there's no drop off area, there's no ramp at the entrance. The surface conditions are just that they're regular concrete with some cracks here and there. The entrance doors could be opened wide, but book carts block the second door from opening. The doorway through which you can enter is 42 inches wide, but it has a metal bump that you have to go over when entering. So you can see the first image is the curb cut. The second image is the circulation space right outside the entrance, and you can see in the background parking possibilities, which is just street parking. The last image shows the doorways where you enter from, and you can see on the right-hand side there are book carts in front of that doorway. Next, I'll go over priority two, which is access to goods and services like interior pathways, service counters, and signage. So most of the books in the store are accessible only by stairs, and the pathways on the ground floor where books are very, very narrow. The service counter where you can get coffee, snacks, and checkout is 40 inches high. The service counter signage is large, but the book category signage is small. There's no braille. Um, there are two ramps in the store. One is large enough for a wheelchair to get through, and the other is not. So you can see the first image shows an example of the stairs that allow you to access the books. You can also see the tables on the ground floor, and if you can see in the background of the image, um, the books on the with the yellow there, you have to go down a flight of stairs to get to them. The second image you see is the service counter. So again, you see like the tables are right in front of it, so it's very crowded. You can see an example of the signage also. At the top of the second picture, it says checkout, which is a bit larger, and then the actual signage for the books are quite small. Um, and the like accessibility to the books and in terms of being off the floor. In the last picture on the right, it's about 3 inches off the floor, and then in the first picture, um, with the table, it's about 25 inches off the floor. Next, we'll go to priority three, which is access to restrooms, like door width, stall space, fixtures, and grab bars. Um, So the door width to the restrooms is 30 inches and it requires maneuvering of the wheelchair to enter. There is one wheelchair accessible stall, which also requires maneuvering of the wheelchair to enter. There are no fixtures or grab bars in both stalls. I do not have a pick as someone was inside both stalls, but I used to work at the store actually, so I know. The door handles are below 48 inches, but the entrance door to the restroom requires force. So you can see the first image, that's the door to the restroom. It's a heavy wooden door, and you can see that the measurement of the entrance to the restroom is quite narrow. The next picture is an image of the wheelchair accessible stall, um, but it's still difficult for wheelchairs to get in. Let's go to priority 4, which is additional accessibility features like emergency exits, water fountains, and seating areas. The emergency exit is inaccessible to wheelchairs. It's a flight of steps. There are no water fountains in the store, and throughout the store there is limited seating area. One area of seating has a ramp accessible to it, and the other requires stairs, and it's very cramped. There are small, high tables. There's limited to no knee space. It is not accessible for wheelchairs. So you can see on the far left, that's the way to the emergency exit. The middle picture shows the seating area, which is available. This has the most seating area, but there are high top tables, very close together. There's absolutely no way someone in a wheelchair could sit at them. The last picture has a ramp where there are some tables there, um, so you could sit there, but yeah, there's only one table. Generally speaking, the store is not an accessible environment for people in wheelchairs at all. Um, I could only come up with some recommendations for the store to just start out with in terms of improving, but honestly speaking, I feel like the entire store would have to be sort of like demolished and remade. They could add a ramp at the entrance door so it's smooth, and they could also allow for both sets of doors to open. They could reduce the number of outdoor book carts at the entrance so it's not so crowded when it is populated. They could clear the book tables on the ground floor to create wider pathways so people in wheelchairs could access the shelves more easily. They could provide more seating on the ground floor that is wheelchair accessible. Um, they could enlarge the restroom entrance and install a swing door instead of the heavy wooden door. And they could create a ground floor emergency exit with a wheelchair ramp. So I hope this gives you some idea of the store. It's not a pretty picture in terms of disability. So yeah, I mean, I don't know to what degree this store would be open to suggestions or follow through with them. But yeah, this is the scene there. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.